10th century, goes back a long ways, and the hospice at that point in time was largely within the Catholic Church, in which they provided housing for individuals to come who needed care for illness, sometimes just people passing through. So it was a much more broad sort of concept. And hospice, I think, goes back to a word that means host, and referring to host, it means not just the person providing the care, but also the person receiving it. And that was back in the 10th or 11th century. In the U.S., I believe the first hospice was in New York in the late 1800s, and it just didn't really begin to take off in any great degree until the 60s and then moving into the 70s. The first volunteer hospice in Michigan was actually here in the UP, and at that point it was called Badenoch Hospice. Dr. Werner started it, and then I took over as medical director sometime in the early 80s and did that for about 10 years. As it evolved, it went from being just a place where people would go for a variety of needs early in its history to a largely focus on people with terminal illnesses. Every week the team meets to discuss individual patients and the impact that it has on their lives. And for each of these individuals, what we're trying to do is make the last stages of their lives as enjoyable as possible. For some individuals, that may be as simple as taking a motorcycle ride or a motorcycle trip out of the area, going to a ball game with a friend. And so we want to enable people to continue to live their lives as they face the last months of their lives. Steve Dash, I'm the internal medicine lead physician at OSF St. Francis, and I'm also the medical director for hospice.
Well, I had read that they were a group was starting up, and I had read about it years before with the person that had hospice overseas, and I always thought it was a neat thing to do. And I was lucky enough to get in the first class they had, so we had to learn a lot of things. Hospice has enriched my life. The people in it, the people that I've met, it enriched my life so much. I don't remember people's names or anything, but I remember them and the things that they taught me. And I get kind of emotional when I think of all those beautiful people. And I'm a volunteer for OSF. I've been there for 40 years now. I'm not active right now, but I'm still a member. It's a fantastic thing. My family backed me up for everything. I could be working at that time. I worked waiting on people, what the people do now, but at that time, if somebody called while I was working, I could just leave and my help would take over. NODA is no one dies alone. I've got cancer now, and I'm going to be going into hospice soon. I know everything will be okay. It's a part of your life you'll never regret doing. Because if you ever want to feel God's presence, it's to be with a person dying. It's beautiful. And I get weepy-eyed. But I've cried with my people. I've laughed with them. I wanted to make 40 years. And I'll make it.